Christy.
And Cynthia.
Woo.
So this is our intro episode that we wanted to do just to, get to know us a little bit, why we're here, doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so, starting, who do you want to go first? Should I go
I
first?
don't mind going first. That's okay.
Do it, Christy.
Okay. So I'm Christy, and I live in the Bay Area, although I'm not native from here. I'm originally from Southern California, aka the Valley, aka 818. And I was born and raised down in the Valley, and then I moved up to the Bay Area-ish for undergrad, where I met Cynthia. And by the way, I know we mentioned that we met in undergrad, but I don't think we mentioned that Cynthia was actually literally the first friend I made in undergrad. When we met in orientation, I still remember we were in line to take our student ID photos, and she was right behind me, and she's just like, "Hi, I'm Cynthia." And we were both with our moms, and our moms started chatting. Well, we started chatting, and I also don't know if Cynthia knows this about me or remembers this about me, but when I was in high school, basically my whole life up until I got to college, I was so shy. Like, I did not like talking to strangers. I just was like comfortable with my group of friends, and then even then, if I was with my friends and we would go out to eat or anywhere, I would have my friends order food for me. Like, this is how embarrassed I would be and shy I would be to just talk to people or speak up. I had such a low speaking voice. And so for Cynthia to like approach me like that was just so perfect, because I probably would have never done it to anybody. Aww. Like, I would not have had the courage to do that. Aww. And orientation is like a month or so before we actually move into the dorms and stuff. So it was just nice to have her contact information. And by the time we moved into the dorms, she was already texting me like, "Hey, like, a group of us are already like hanging out. Come to my room." And so it was perfect. If it hadn't been for that, I probably would have stayed in my dorm room and slept for the whole first day, because I was just so shy and scared. But it's funny to think about that, because even you, right? Like, I don't think you remember this about me, but I'm not like that anymore. Something shifted in college, and I am no longer that shy person. I still have shy tendencies, but not like to that level anymore. So it was just, yeah, so it was just like perfect. And then honestly, the group of friends that I ended up walking away with from college are friends that I ended up meeting through Cynthia, really. So there's that. But yeah, so I always liked, kind of like the Bay Area. There was something that drew me out here, which is why I wanted to go to college out here. I did end up moving back to LA for a period of time, and I was just working random jobs. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was a history major, Italian studies minor. I had, learned how to speak Italian. I studied abroad the whole nine, and I still love like Italian culture and all of that, but obviously I dabbled with maybe trying to do something in like Italian history, and but at the end of the day, I was thinking about more long-term like career, like what skills could I really do. And in college, I had a professor that kind of suggested law school to me, but for some reason I was so like stubborn about it. I'm like, I'm not going to just go to law school because I don't know what I want to do with my life. But that idea kind of stuck with me for years, and I ended up like really trying to get my foot in the door as like a paralegal or like a legal assistant, just so I can really see if I liked it. So I did a program in LA for paralegal training, and then around that time that I finished, I decided to move to the East Coast with my sister, who had just gotten a job as a professor, and she was going to be moving out there by herself. And I was in my early 20s, and I said, you know what, I have nothing keeping me here in California, so why not? I'll just join her. And I did, and I ended up living there for 5 years. And I worked as a paralegal there for that time. I also had a second odd job, and I was busy. I was working a lot while I was out there, but it was really fun. I met a lot of really great people who I'm still in touch with, and I still have my sister there for a while, so I can visit. I've been able to visit a couple times since I've left, and I can still continue to visit for a little while. But ultimately, I decided that after working as a paralegal for a few years, I realized, you know what? The only way up from here, from this position at this point, is becoming an attorney myself. Whoa. And it definitely, once I saw like the people I was working for, I was like, I can definitely do this. Like, I'm capable of this. This isn't scary. I like it. Like, I enjoy the work that I'm doing. Why not just go for it? So I started studying for the LSAT. I took it twice. And then I applied to schools kind of all over the place. And I ended up getting accepted to a law school out in Connecticut. And I was about to go because I had not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard back from the school I ended up going to yet. And I had like a short window of time to respond to this school in Connecticut, and I was about to accept it until I got that acceptance letter from the school here in California. And because it came so last minute, I think it boiled down to like I needed to move my life in Connecticut and back to California within like 6 weeks or something like that. And I just was like not ready for that quick of a move. So I deferred my enrollment. So I started actually a whole year later than I was supposed to. Oh. Yeah. And I did law school part-time in the evenings while working full-time for 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was really intense. And essentially I moved back to the Bay Area-ish to do law school. And that's what brought me closer to Cynthia and a bunch of friends also that have lived in the area that I just hadn't seen since college. So, or like not as frequently, right? And it's been really fun to just kind of be back to an area where I really attribute kind of growing into adulthood, right? Yeah. So I think it's like 2 phases of my life where I really feel like I kind of grew up. Yeah. And now I'm here, and I am currently in a long distance relationship. But we've been doing pretty good. There's a lot of flexibility there has been over the time that we've been together, some flexibility in our schedules where we've been able to kind of maintain like a somewhat normal frequency of like seeing each other and things like that. But it definitely presents a lot of challenges, especially when you just kind of want to settle into like a place where you're just not worrying about like the next thing. You're just kind of in it and you're doing what you're doing and all of that. So we'll get there eventually. It's just like there's been a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and you've been doing it so well. I didn't know about you waiting on Connecticut.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Actually,
hey,
it's
you
so
have your choices.
I know, it's so funny. I remember it like it was yesterday because I actually found out I got accepted to that law school in Connecticut on my way to the airport while I was flying to your graduation in DC. And that was like it just made that trip a lot more exciting for me because I felt like, oh my God, like I don't know. It just kind of felt like it was a transition coming. It was like spring and
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Now you're done.
And now I'm done and we'll see. But as far as like fun stuff,
Yeah.
I really enjoy going to wineries and going to breweries. Things where drinking and eating is involved is definitely always something that's gonna draw my attention. I'm a beach girl. I love the beach. Whenever I can go to the beach, I will do that. Whether it's just like hanging out there and having a picnic or like actually going and swimming in the water or just watching the sunset. Like, I don't care. I just love being by the beach. And I'll do hiking every once in a while. I was part of the CrossFit community for a short period of time, but I really enjoyed the like weightlifting, like learning how to like actually do some of these things was fun. So fitness is something that I'm like interested in, but I'm no bodybuilder. I'm no like fitness like expert at all. But I do enjoy having that as part of my life. Like I did yoga for 4 years and I just have not done it in a while, but I loved yoga. I really enjoy binge watching
I mean,
shows.
I can agree to that too.
Yeah. And I just started, now that I'm done with school, I just started getting back into reading. Although I'm also realizing that I'm kind of slow when it comes to reading. I used to read for pleasure all the time, and now it's like so easy to just turn on the TV. But
Yeah.
I find reading to be just as entertaining, but also relaxing. It just like kind of puts me in a nice little zen mood. Traveling is fun, although I have not done it in so long. And I will mention I love the traveling, but as I've gotten older, I hate the actual like process of getting to where you're going. Like I don't like being on planes. But, that's a whole thing. I never thought that I would be part of a podcast, but here I am, thankful to Cynthia for kind of having the idea and inviting me to this journey with her. She kind of posed the idea for me, and it sounded like fun. And I'm kind of like, I went through a pretty busy, stressful year with finishing law school and studying for the bar exam, taking the bar exam, and thinking about long-term employment and all of those fun things that, it's just nice to not think about those things anymore and just think about stuff that makes me happy or things that I haven't had the time to think about while I've been kind of just working and doing the whole school thing. So
yeah,
I thought this would be fun.
I'm so glad that you're here and we're here together.
Yes.
And congratulations with finishing law school.
Thank you.
Taking the bar.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's funny how like it can feel like something that consumes your whole life, and then now it's like I don't even think about it anymore because I'm just waiting for my fate, but we'll see what happens.
Waiting for my fate.
Yeah.
Completely. I'm so proud of you. This is definitely a space that I wanted to do because, life gets crazy and hectic, especially with this pandemic. I know a lot of people moved to doing creative things. Whether it was crafting, doing a podcast, YouTubing, dancing, whatever. And I felt that we could contribute and share a little bit about who we are, our perspectives, for everybody to benefit, as well as for us to kind of have an outlet and just I don't know, have fun, relax.
Definitely.
I decided to ask Christy and be like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Let's just have fun. Let's do the least." But yes. Christy came up with that, right, Christy?
And I think the idea really came from just like this idea of how we both don't really have any hobbies to call our own. It's not like we're out here hiking every weekend or
Yeah, no
or like
thanks.
yeah, or just like, we're not. I mean, at least I'm not. Cynthia is definitely more creative than I am. She always has been, but I don't really have. I like creativity. I just like never really developed that kind of skill or interest in my life. It's something I did more as a child, and whenever I'm creative now as an adult, it really to me is a moment where I'm like kind of speaking to my inner child, or I'm catering to my inner child. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I think that a lot of adulthood tends to be like where we find peace, or where we de-stress, or where we find happiness, is really just letting go of all the responsibilities we have on our day to day, and just going back to like the things that made us happy when we were younger. And
Yes.
so being able to have this opportunity to kind of just be a little bit more creative and create some fun stuff for people to listen to is something that I'm very excited about, and I'm thankful to Cynthia for presenting that opportunity to me.
I'm thankful that you agreed and followed through, and we're doing it, we're editing, we're meeting on weekends. You're,
Yeah.
giving up an hour or two. Like, thank you. So I grew up near the Bay Area ish, and I went to school in the Bay Area ish, and grew up in, a Mexican immigrant household, and really learned a lot in college and life experiences. Yeah, so I went to school. I had no idea what I wanted to do for a few years. I was, doing health stuff, being a Zumba instructor. Um,
Ooh,
yeah, I
fun.
was always around food. I knew that food was such a motivator for me, in a lot of things, whether it was photography, talking about food and health and nutrition. Um, and then I thought I wanted to be a dietitian at some point. And within the dietitian realm, I was shadowing, and found nursing. So I looked into schools, got rejected for 1 year. Round one, I got rejected.
Oh, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
I think I applied to like Yale and Columbia.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, you know
nice.
what? If I'm gonna go big, let's do this. That got rejected, and then I got into another program. And so I was there for a couple years in the East Coast.
I still have my Georgetown t-shirt
Ah,
from when I
that's right.
visited you.
Those were the two craziest years of my life.
I can
And then I
only
did it.
imagine.
I took the test and I passed it.
I mean, you were doing long
I was doing
distance
long distance. That's right.
relationship.
Fun fact, I met my husband on Tinder. Um,
Ooh.
but we maintained our relationship and eventually got married. So Tinder and then long distance relationships, they work. It can happen.
They do
Yeah,
work. I think we can both actually agree on that. We've
that's right.
both had that
That's
experience.
right.
And the other fun thing is that while Cynthia was on the East Coast in nursing school or doing her nursing program, I was also living on the East Coast. So it was kind of just nice being on the same time zone at
Right.
least, even though we weren't in the same
Yeah.
state
I remember
and
that.
we only saw each other once in those 2 years.
Yeah, but because life was so hectic, and
Yeah,
and
of course,
so,
yeah.
I actually my major in undergrad was languages and art. Um, but I knew that I wanted a little bit something else. I did the career, I'm doing it, but I know that I wanted something else. And I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and I thought, oh my gosh, I could do this. I could be a part of this community.
Yeah.
And I know that sometimes when you get me going with like coffee, I could be a chatterbox. So then I was like, why don't I just record this, and like someone can join me? Christy can join me because we can chat. And I think together we would make a great combo. Talk about anything and everything.
Random things, anything.
That's right.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So, wrapping it up, I just want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in and getting to know a little bit about who Cynthia and Christy are. Um, please let us know if there's any topic you would like for us to cover. I believe our first episode will be about beer.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll have other topics to come, other episodes. And again, our email is doingtheleastpodcast@gmail.com. We'll put in a description and our links to our Instagram and social media. And again, thanks for listening in Doing the
Doing the
Least
least with Christy
and Cynthia.